Information in this video might leave you feeling a mix of emotions: relief, frustration, or even confusion. You might find yourself questioning advice you've been given in the past or the parenting practices you grew up with. If you've been told to never give in to your child's behavior because it's essential to set firm boundaries, this approach may feel uncomfortable or even counterintuitive. But here's the reality: every child is unique, and what works for one child might not work for another. More importantly, every child deserves compassion, especially when they're struggling. When your child engages in challenging behavior, they aren't trying to manipulate you or defy you. They're trying to communicate. It's their way of saying, something's wrong and I don't know how to make it better. In those moments, they need your help, not your resistance. This doesn't mean letting go of boundaries or expectations. It means learning how to approach these situations with understanding and kindness so you can address the root cause of the behavior and teach your child a better way forward. In this video, we'll explore how you can respond compassionately without losing sight of your long-term goals for your child. When your child is upset, crying, hitting, screaming, you're faced with an immediate and difficult decision. Should you step in and respond, or will that just make things worse? In those split-second moments, conflicting advice might rush through your mind. Don't reinforce bad behavior. Set firm boundaries. Be compassionate and comfort them. It's no wonder you feel unsure what to do. The pressure to make the right decision can feel overwhelming, especially when emotions are running high, for both you and your child. These moments aren't just hard. They may feel urgent, chaotic, and sometimes even scary. So, whose advice should you follow? Should you hold the boundary or offer comfort? What's the right move to help your child in the long term while managing the intensity of the moment? Here's the truth. To respond effectively, you need to take a step back and focus on understanding the purpose behind the behavior. Every behavior, no matter how challenging, is your child's way of communicating something they can't express in words. Are they feeling overwhelmed? Are they trying to escape a situation that feels too difficult? Are they seeking connection, attention, or relief from discomfort? When you shift your focus from stopping the behavior to understanding why it's happening, you unlock the ability to respond in a way that's both compassionate and effective. Instead of battling against your child's behavior, you'll learn how to meet their needs in the moment while teaching them better ways to express themselves in the future. Every behavior, even the most challenging ones, has a purpose. Your child isn't acting out to frustrate you or make your day harder. They're trying to communicate a need. That need might be for attention, a break, a favorite toy, or relief from sensory discomfort or pain. Whatever the cause, their behavior is a message. Think about it this way: if your child had the words, tools, or skills to tell you what they needed calmly, they would. But when they don't, their behavior becomes their voice. Crying might mean, I'm overwhelmed. Hitting might mean, I need space. Throwing objects might mean, I don't know how to handle this frustration. When you shift your perspective to view behavior as communication, it changes everything. Instead of feeling reactive or frustrated, you can approach your child with curiosity and compassion. You can ask yourself, what is my child trying to tell me right now? This mindset helps you stay calm and grounded even when your child is not. Here's why this is important. When you remain calm in the face of challenging behavior, you become the steady, safe presence your child needs. By focusing on understanding the why behind the behavior, you can respond in a way that not only addresses their immediate needs, but also builds trust and connection. Remember, challenging behaviors aren't the enemy. They're clues. They're signals that something is going on beneath the surface. When you take the time to uncover what's really happening, you're not just managing the behavior, you're helping your child feel heard, supported, and ready to learn better ways of expressing themselves. Traditional approaches, like ignoring behavior, what's often referred to as extinction, may sound straightforward, but they can sometimes have unintended consequences that make things worse. The idea behind extinction is to stop reinforcing a behavior by ignoring it, which should essentially cause it to fade away. But in reality, ignoring challenging behaviors often leads to an extinction burst. An extinction burst happens when a behavior escalates before it gets better. Imagine this. Your child is learning that crying or screaming gets your attention. If you suddenly stop responding, their natural reaction is to try harder, to cry louder, scream longer, or even escalate to behaviors like hitting or throwing objects. It's their way of saying, "This usually works. Why isn't it working now?" This escalation doesn't just make the situation more intense, it can also make it unsafe. For example, a child who feels ignored while trying to escape a difficult task might begin to lash out physically, endangering themselves or others. Or a child who relies on behaviors like hitting to communicate frustration may escalate to biting or self-injury when their behavior is ignored. Another challenge with extinction is that it's only effective if you can withhold reinforcement every single time the behavior occurs. That means no matter how severe the behavior becomes, no matter where you are, and no matter who is watching, you cannot respond in a way that reinforces the behavior. For most parents, this simply isn't realistic. Imagine you're in the middle of a crowded store and your child begins screaming and throwing items to get attention or escape an overwhelming situation. Ignoring them might feel impossible when others are watching, when you're concerned about your child's safety, or when the behavior is disrupting others. In moments like these, withholding reinforcement 100% of the time isn't just difficult, it's impractical. And the moment reinforcement is given after the behavior has escalated, it strengthens the behavior and makes it even harder to manage next time. Extinction also fails to address the reason behind the behavior. Ignoring your child's cries for help or attention might stop the crying temporarily, but it doesn't teach them how to ask for attention or help in a more appropriate way. Without that guidance, the unmet need remains and the behavior is likely to return or even worsen over time. It's important to recognize that extinction is not inherently wrong, but it's rarely as simple or effective as it's made out to be. In many cases, it can create more stress for both you and your child without solving the underlying issue. Instead of ignoring challenging behaviors, we'll explore compassionate, practical approaches that prioritize safety, trust, and teaches a better way of communicating. These strategies address not just the behavior, but the needs driving it, creating a path for real and lasting progress. Reinforcing challenging behavior isn't about giving in. It's about responding in a way that prioritizes what matters most: safety, trust, and opportunities for growth. When your child is in the middle of a meltdown or engaging in challenging behavior, they are overwhelmed, dysregulated, and struggling to cope. In those moments, the focus needs to shift from stopping the behavior to meeting your child's immediate need. Why? Because addressing the need allows you to reduce stress, prevent escalation, and create a calmer space where real teaching can happen later. First, prioritize safety. When behaviors escalate, they can quickly become unsafe for your child, for others, and for the environment around you. Reinforcing the behavior in the moment, such as giving a break, offering comfort, or providing a preferred item, isn't about rewarding bad behavior. It's about ensuring that everyone stays safe. Safety is always the first priority because no learning or progress can happen in a state of chaos or harm. Then, maintain trust. Your relationship with your child is built on trust. When your child's behavior communicates a need, how you respond shapes their sense of security. Ignoring their cries for help or connection may inadvertently send the message that their feelings don't matter. By responding with compassion, whether that's a hug, a calming word, or a break from a task, you show your child that you understand and care. This builds trust and reinforces your role as their safe, reliable support system. And finally, create opportunities to teach. When your child's immediate need is met, their stress levels decrease and they become more receptive to learning. Meeting the need now doesn't mean you're condoning the behavior. It means you're laying the groundwork to teach them better ways to communicate in the future. Once they're calm, you can help them practice asking for a break, requesting attention appropriately, or using words instead of hitting. Think of it this way. Reinforcing the behavior in the moment isn't the end of the process. It's the beginning. You're not just reacting to the behavior, you're using it as a stepping stone to teach skills that will help your child succeed in the long term. Compassionate responses don't let your child get away with challenging behavior. Instead, they help you create a foundation for meaningful change. When you meet your child where they are, emotionally and behaviorally, you reduce the intensity of the moment, foster connection, and open the door to teaching the skills they need to thrive. Research consistently shows that compassionate responses to challenging behavior are not only ethical but also highly effective. At the heart of this approach is a well-established principle in behavior analysis called the matching law. The matching law explains that behaviors reinforced consistently and effectively are more likely to occur than behaviors that are ignored or inconsistently reinforced. When you apply compassionate approaches, you're not rewarding bad behavior. You're guiding your child toward more appropriate and functional ways to communicate their needs. Let's break this down. Reinforcement strengthens behavior. When your child engages in a challenging behavior, such as yelling, to gain your attention, and you ignore it entirely, they might feel unheard or escalate to even more intense behaviors. But when you use compassionate approaches, like calmly acknowledging their need and guiding them to say, "Excuse me," you're not just addressing the moment, you're showing them a better, more effective way to get what they need. The matching law also emphasizes the importance of consistency. Imagine two behaviors competing for your child's attention. One is yelling, which sometimes works to get your attention, but is met with mixed responses. The other is asking politely, which you consistently reinforce by responding immediately. Over time, your child will choose the polite request more often because it reliably leads to the desired outcome. This is why compassionate approaches work. It makes the preferred behavior more effective and rewarding than the challenging one. Compassion builds skills, not chaos. Some parents worry that reinforcing a challenging behavior will make it happen more often. but compassion isn't about letting your child control the situation. It's about using the moment as an opportunity to guide and teach. By reinforcing behaviors like requesting a break or using words instead of aggression, or signaling discomfort appropriately, you're giving your child tools to express themselves without resorting to disruptive behaviors. Compassionate approaches align with modern ethical standards in behavior analysis, which emphasize reducing harm, prioritizing safety, and respecting the dignity of the individual. It ensures that interventions focus not just on changing behavior, but also on building trust and emotional well-being. When your child learns that they can meet their needs in a calm, predictable, and respectful way, their trust in you grows and their reliance on challenging behaviors diminishes. Compassionate approaches don't mean rewarding misbehavior. It means using science-backed strategies to teach better behaviors that serve your child in the long run. By consistently reinforcing the behaviors you want to see, you shift the focus from managing problems to building skills, ensuring both you and your child feel more confident, connected, and successful. In challenging moments, your first priority is to de-escalate the situation. When your child is overwhelmed, upset, or engaging in a challenging behavior, their ability to learn or process instructions is greatly reduced. They need you to be their anchor in the storm, a calm, steady presence that helps them regain control. De-escalation starts with your tone and demeanor. Speak slowly and softly, using a calm and reassuring voice. Your child will take emotional cues from you, so the calmer you remain, the more likely they are to start calming down too. Keep your body language open and non-threatening. Avoid gestures that might feel like punishment or frustration, such as crossed arms or raised hands. During this time, focus on minimizing triggers that might make the situation worse. If possible, move to a quieter space, reduce overwhelming stimuli like loud noises or bright lights, and give your child the space they need to feel safe. Remember, the goal isn't to stop the behavior instantly, it's to help your child feel secure enough to begin calming down. When behaviors escalate, safety becomes the most important consideration. This might mean physically intervening to prevent self-injury or moving objects out of the way to reduce harm. While safety is your top priority, how you handle this moment also sets the stage for trust and learning. Avoid making the situation feel punitive. Instead, focus on showing your child that you're there to support and protect them. For example, if your child is throwing objects, calmly remove the items from their reach without yelling or scolding. If they are hitting or kicking, gently block their movements while saying something like, "I see you're upset, I'm here to help." Once the immediate danger has passed, identify what your child is trying to communicate through their behavior. Are they overwhelmed and need a break? Are they frustrated and need help? Compassionately meeting their immediate need, whether that's offering a break, providing comfort, or giving a moment of connection, prevents the behavior from escalating further and shows your child that you're tuned in to their needs. This doesn't mean you're giving in or condoning the behavior. Instead, you're preventing harm and reducing stress, which creates a foundation for teaching new skills later. Reinforcing their needs in this moment builds trust and helps them feel understood. After the situation has de-escalated and your child is calm, it's time to focus on teaching. This is when you can work on building the skills your child needs to handle similar situations more effectively in the future. For example, if your child was throwing objects because they wanted a break, you can teach them to use a visual card or verbal phrase to ask for a break instead. If they were crying to get your attention, practice teaching them to tap your shoulder or say, "Excuse me." Teaching doesn't work in the heat of the moment. It works best when your child feels safe, calm, and ready to learn. By meeting their need first, you created an environment where they're more likely to listen and engage with new skills. Challenging moments don't have to be battles. By focusing on de-escalation, safety, and compassion, you're not just managing behaviors, you're helping your child learn and grow. Meeting their needs in the moment builds a bridge to future successes, where they feel empowered to communicate and handle challenges in more constructive ways. Let's explore an example to see how this approach works in action. Imagine your child playing with a puzzle. At first, they're engaged and excited, but as the pieces don't fit together the way they expect, their frustration builds. Suddenly, they throw the puzzle pieces across the room. This behavior might make you feel upset, embarrassed, or unsure of what to do. You might even hear that little voice in your head saying, "Don't give in, you'll only encourage this." But instead of ignoring the behavior or scolding your child, consider a different approach. Recognize the behavior as communication. Throwing the toy is your child's way of saying, "I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what else to do." They don't yet have the tools to say, "This is hard and I need help," so their frustration comes out in their actions. Respond compassionately to meet their need. Stay calm and acknowledge their feelings. "I see you're frustrated. Let's take a break." By offering a break, you're addressing their immediate need, relief from the overwhelming task, while preventing the situation from escalating further. Focus on safety. If they've thrown something, calmly pick it up and place it out of reach for now, ensuring there's no risk of harm. Keep your tone neutral and avoid punitive language like, "You shouldn't have done that." Create a calm space for learning. Once your child has had a chance to cool down, they're more likely to be receptive to teaching. At this point, you can revisit what happened and help them learn a new way to handle their frustration. For example, you might say, "Next time the puzzle feels hard, you can say, 'I need help,' and I'll come over." If it gets too frustrating, you can also ask for a break. "Let's practice together." Reinforce the replacement behavior. During future play sessions, keep an eye out for moments where your child starts to feel frustrated. If they say, "I need help," or "Can I take a break?" reinforce that behavior immediately with praise and assistance. "Great job asking for help. Let's figure this out together." By responding with compassion and addressing your child's need in the moment, you're keeping the situation safe and preventing further escalation, showing your child that their feelings are valid and that you're there to support them. You're creating opportunities to teach new skills like asking or helping for tasks or taking breaks that will replace the challenging behavior over time. The more you reinforce positive replacement behaviors, the less your child will rely on throwing objects or other challenging behaviors to communicate their frustration. They'll learn that there's a better, more effective way to get what they need, and they'll feel more confident and secure knowing that you're there to guide them. Remember, every challenging moment is a chance to build trust, model calmness, and teach valuable life skills. Compassionate responses like these don't just solve the problem in the moment, they help your child grow into a more resilient and capable communicator. By responding with compassion, you're doing so much more than managing a behavior in the moment. You're creating a lasting impact on your relationship with your child. Compassionate care allows you to see challenging moments as opportunities to connect, understand, and guide your child. It's a way of saying, "I see you, I hear you, and I'm here to help."